Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm finally back with another episode of Trainer Tip Tuesdays. Some of you guys may remember this weekly series I started a while ago, aimed to help you guys improve in specific sections of VGC every week. We've already done a couple on team preview, improving your game in general, and note-taking, but today we'll be moving on to one that's really important in my opinion, and one that's also a bit more generic, and that's just general resources for you to improve your game in VGC. You know, back when I started VGC in 2008, there were very little resources, barely anything. No one was creating content, YouTube wasn't even that big of a website, Twitch didn't exist, Nugget Bridge didn't exist, and VGC was still growing. But after so many different years and seeing VGC grow for so many different years, we're finally in a time where there's so many resources out there for you guys to, watch, to read and whatnot, and those resources can really help you improve your game. Just for reference, when I was starting out VGC, the way I got better at the game was just through practicing playing and watching other battle videos, but it's even better now because people are starting to stream, they're starting to commentate, there's so many different articles out there aimed to help players get into the game. So this is just going to be a comprehensive list of resources that I would highly recommend to you guys, and most of these resources I follow and check every day. So without further ado, let's just get into it. And if you enjoyed the series and want to see more, please let me know by leaving a like on the video and giving me any feedback or criticism. I'd really appreciate it. So first things first, YouTube channels. Obviously, I do run a YouTube channel aimed to help you guys get better at VGC, but there are a couple of other really great guys out there who are starting to make really cool content. Ogloza definitely jumps to mind. He actually has like over 10k more subs than me. He does a lot of fun stuff that's not just VGC. I know one of his most popular series is like a fun facts kind of series, but he is honestly one of the best guys in VGC. He's also the 2014 US National Champion, so it's a testament to his skill. So he also has played at Worlds in 2 different years, and I highly recommend you guys check him out. He posts, I think, 1 or 2 battles a day, and does some other cool tutorials and guides. I know he recently released the team building guide as well, so one of the best guys to go to on YouTube for VGC. The next one is Barry Anderson. He recently has started doing stuff. He's a European player, a really good one at that, probably one of the best players over in Europe. I think he's actually rated number 1 in championship points over there right now. Qualified for Worlds in 2013 and bubbled out by finishing 9th. He also posts videos mainly in the showdown format, so if you guys are tired of battle videos in actual game, Barry has a lot of showdown content and it's easier to watch, so definitely recommend him. And he's also got a couple of different things where he covers just important things in VGC, such as building EV spreads or constructing a team, which is really cool. The next one is James Beck, who is definitely less known but still a really good guy. He actually qualified for Worlds last year in the seniors division by grinding in through the last chance qualifier, and I believe he's posting content on a daily basis as well. It's his first year in the Masters division, but he's a really strong player. I've played him so many times this season already, and I highly recommend his content as well. I think he's improving in terms of commentary and battling, and he is definitely underrated. The next one is 3-time world champion Rizzo, who some of you guys may not know but actually runs a YouTube channel and started recently. He's posting daily videos, actually, basically just battle videos right now, though I know he's planning on starting a series similar to Team Review Thursday on this channel. And what better way to learn than watching a 3-time world champion, literally a guy who has reached the top 3 separate years and still is at the top. Also a really great guy in general. He is really laid back about the game and his commentary is really awesome. So definitely recommend those 4 guys in general. I think those are probably 4 of the best guys you can get content from. These are all players who have competed at Worlds, are very high caliber, offer some of the best commentary and play out there, and these are the 4 guys that I regularly check out as well. And finally, Nugget Bridge is the last YouTube channel I would recommend. There are no commentated battles on there, but they're just hundreds of battle videos, often from tournaments and whatnot. And they've also got a lot of footage from previous years, such as 2012 and 2013, and I think one way to improve in VGC is just by watching battles, watching how top players predict and whatnot. And even if you're not watching battles from VGC 2015, you can still get a good understanding of how players kind of go through that player mentality and whatnot. So Nugget Bridge has a lot of top play from the top players, although it's not commentated. But yeah, these are the 5 YouTube channels I would recommend for you guys if you want more VGC content outside of my channel. Next one is Twitch. So streaming has become a popular thing. Pokemon, not as much yet. I know I'm working hard to stream more regularly. My Twitch stream actually averages over 1,000 viewers per stream, which is really, really awesome. And I also want to help these streams grow a bit more, because streaming is really important, I think, for any esport to grow. And for Pokemon, we're getting there, so I would recommend these. First one is Nugget Bridge. That one basically streams tournaments all the time. A lot of the times there's actually commentary as well. Over in California, Dewey Ha, who's one of the official commentators, often stream the Premier Challenges over in California on the Nugget Bridge Twitch. There are also regionals often streamed there, so definitely check that one and follow it out. Patrick Donegan, who is a player who lives in New York, actually often streams our Premier Challenges around here. I actually end up commentating a lot of those Premier Challenges, so I would definitely recommend you guys give him a follow. He's also in the top 16 of the Nugget Bridge Major, which is one of the largest online Pokemon tournaments in history, and he'll probably be streaming the remainder of his sets, so definitely check him out as well. Alex Ogloza and Rizzo, as I mentioned, are already huge, amazing players and content creators, and they also do some Twitch streaming, so I definitely recommend you guys follow those streams as well. Alex is, laid back. He does a lot of fun stuff, while Ray, I know, has been doing more battle spot streaming, so check both of them out. And the last two, twitch.tv/Pokemon, that's probably one of the biggest ones you're going to want to follow. Even though they only stream a couple times per year, they'll actually be streaming Wisconsin Regionals later this month. Of course, US Nationals and Worlds. So this is where the official streaming goes on, and if you guys want to ever watch the large, official tournaments, that's where you're going to want to tune in. The last one is one that probably most of you guys don't know about, but Germany Nationals, I believe, is going to be streamed at twitch.tv/AMIGO event. It's actually a really official looking stream. They've got professional, commentators and gameplay and cameras and whatnot. It looks really promising. And Germany Nationals, I believe, is in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I forget the date, but definitely give that a follow. And streaming is also great because you get to interact with the streamers live most of the time. You get to talk to them, and you get to chat with other people while the games are going on. So as for Twitch streams, these are the 6 I would recommend. The next one are just generic helpful links, and some of you guys may have seen these already from the previous videos I've done on team building and whatnot, but I'd still highly recommend them. Nugget Bridge is the de facto website, I'd say, to go to for VGC. There's really no better website for content out there. It's updated daily with new articles every day. It's got thousands of members and posts and views and whatnot. It's just a fantastic community as well. So nuggetbridge.com, also has the forums, but they've got tons of articles and resources, and I highly recommend it. Another one is BattleSpot Statistics, which some people don't know about, but if you actually go to the BattleSpot website, 3ds.pokemon-gl.com, you can actually check, the most common Pokemon, their movesets, whatnot, what Pokemon are often beaten by what Pokemon are paired with what Pokemon, whatnot. A lot of what's there, but I really like it because you get to see how the metagame is shaping on BattleSpot, and even though that's not a complete representation of the real-life metagame, you can get a sense of what's becoming more popular, what's, becoming less popular, and stuff like that. So I really like the 3DS website for that, or the Pokemon website for that, and they're also doing more analyses on actual statistics. I know for the international challenge, they actually released the top 12 Pokemon and common sets and whatnot, so definitely recommend you guys check out that website a bit more. Nugget Bridge also has a damage calculator, which streamlines actual, common showdown sets and sets from articles, so it makes plugging in really easy, and unlike other damage calculators where you have to change the level to 50 and whatnot, Nugget Bridge is all for VGC and only for VGC really, so it's really helpful and saves you some time. The next one is called Pokemon Attack Survival Calculator, one that I like to use for EV spreads. It was designed by a Nugget Bridge member called Stats. It's a bit complicated to use, but once you figure it out, basically you're just plugging in numbers as for Pokemon's base stats and attacks and whatnot to figure out how you can optimize EV spreads in terms of the defenses. The last one is the event locator on the Pokemon website, which can help find VGC events nearby you. So if you're wondering, Harry, are there any Premier Challenges or Regionals nearby me? I would recommend you guys check that link out. Going back to Nugget Bridge, there are a couple of articles that are really good that I would highly recommend for you guys. Honestly, every article on Nugget Bridge is quite fantastic, especially the team articles, which give you a good insight on how top players build their teams and their EV spreads and whatnot. But these are a couple of ones that are a bit more generic, and I think will be incredibly helpful to people starting out or people wanting to learn about specific categories of VGC. The first one is a 2-part article by Dwabblefett called Achieving Perfection, Creating Specialized EV Spreads. He basically goes into a hardcore math of making perfect EV spreads as opposed to just going with 252 all the time, and they're really good comprehensive articles. The next one is something that a lot of players often wonder about. I see on a lot of my Road to Rank videos, how do you get these legendaries? How come, did you trade for them? Did you soft reset for them? Whatnot? Simon wrote a really good article about how you can capture perfect legendary Pokemon in ORAS. He gives you all the best techniques, ways to save you time, ways to basically get those legendaries that you desire so much. The next one is a team preview guide written by Randy, also known as RNanimate, who is one of Canada's best players, if not Canada's best VGC player. He's done a team preview guide in the past, but this one's even more comprehensive, and it matches the team preview guide I did for Trainer Tip Tuesdays a while ago, but I highly recommend you check that article out as well. I think it says a lot when you can read how a top player goes into team preview. The next one is for really more beginner players, but one that's really, really important, and it's called Differences Between Single and Double Battles in Pokemon by my good friend, Aaron Trailer. Some of you guys may recognize that name because he actually did win St. Louis Regionals a while back. But it's a really, really helpful article because for anyone that may be newer to VGC, it basically covers all the important things in terms of transitioning from that singles play to that doubles play. Of course, VGC is doubles, and that is a completely different pace in terms of momentum and switching and movesets and what kinds of moves are popular and whatnot, and Pokemon choices, and Unreality basically covers all those different changes that you'll need to know. So definitely recommend that out if you're just getting into VGC and you used to be a singles player. And the last one is one that was written a while back, but one that's still really helpful, and it's called An Early VGC 2015 Metagame Overview, 50 Pokemon to Prepare For by Scott, who used to be one of the administrators, but now is actually working at the Pokemon Company. And this article basically covers most of the important Pokemon you'll need to beat in VGC. Of course, it's a bit outdated since the metagame has shifted a fair amount, but same time, it's a really, really helpful article when you're looking and you're building a team and you need to see, can my team beat all these 50 Pokemon? That's at least what I do when I'm building a team. Make sure I can beat 50 Pokemon that are really, really common in the format. Of course, there's still so many different good and fantastic articles on Nugget Bridge, but these are a couple of my favorite, and I think they cover a broad spectrum regardless of what kind of player you are. And finally, if you're actually curious about the actual VGC circuit, how people end up competing at the World Championships, I recommend these 3 links, and they're all on the official Pokemon website. The first one is a link to championship points, and for those that don't know, it's basically the way you qualify for Worlds in most regions. Championship points, are awarded out to different levels of tournaments, and this link will give you a comprehensive review of how many points you can get from each tournament. The next one is a bit more generic. It's just the general information for the 2015 VGC circuit, and that one will give you information as well. The last one is a championship point standings on the current rankings throughout the world. So if you're curious on how players are doing around the world, you can definitely check that out as well. I think if you check North America, I'm currently ranked 3rd, which is pretty cool. But yeah, those are 3 really, really helpful links in terms of learning about the actual VGC circuit. And that's basically it. There's so much more content out there, but YouTube channels, Twitch streams, Nugget Bridge, all these different damage calculators and articles in terms of building EV spreads and just getting better at the game. I really just recommend Nugget Bridge because at the end of the day, that's where basically all the top articles are. I also would recommend let you guys create a Twitter. You don't have to tweet or anything, but there are a lot of top players on Twitter, and it's the best way to actually get international info from players like, players from areas like Japan, Korea, Australia, Europe, and whatnot. Because a lot of the times the articles that are written on Nugget Bridge are mainly catered towards an American/European metagame. So if you go on Twitter, you can follow a lot of the top players in prospective regions. Top players basically all have Twitter. Sejong Park has a Twitter, Ray Rizzo has a Twitter, Wolfie Glick has a Twitter. All those players you'd probably imagine have a Twitter. So it's pretty cool to get news directly from them, see how they're doing in real life as well, and get live updates from different regions and tournaments. But yeah, that's basically it. Obviously, this isn't all the number of resources that are out there, but these are the ones that I would highly recommend to you and will make your time learning VGC a lot easier. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you found it helpful. Leave a like if you did. Give me any feedback and criticism or comments. As always, let me know what else you'd like to see for Team Review Thursday. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, peace.